Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let's go through Google AI Studio. I'm going to cover almost each and every aspect of Google AI Studio. One thing to mention is that this is changing rapidly, so there might be some new additional things in the future. But this is the diagram that I'm going to walk you through. First, we'll go through the left menu of Google AI Studio where there is this prompt things, stream real time, starter apps, fine tuning a model, how you can or directly fine tune a model directly in the UI itself. And there is this prompt library. One thing that is not talked a lot about is the system prompt, because people think that okay, prompt, system prompt, it might be the same, but there are some of the aspects I want to talk about, how to make the system prompt better so that you get better responses. Then we'll go through the right menu where there is this function calling, model comparison, structured output, code execution, grounding with Google search. And in the model comparison, we'll go through one model. I already went through last video about this where I have explained image generation. So if I go back to my channel here, if I go to the video, I have created this image generation, which is really good. We can ask some additional things out of it. There are many things to cover, but I will go step by step, try to cover each and every aspect of it. If you are into this kind of topics, let's explore it together. Let's get started. Okay, so you can see this is the UI. Let me make this little bit bigger. And the first one here is the create prompt, right? You can see here system instructions. Let me explain the system instruction first, because it is really useful. And system instruction, system prompt, by the way, it is same, right? Before explaining this, why it is important is because there is a prompt which you ask here. Type something, meaning you are asking something, that is called the prompt. But system prompt meaning that whenever you ask something, it first checks what is in the system prompt. If you have a well written system prompt, you will get a better answer from the LLM, right? What I have shown here is, I find a really good article, I'll provide a link in the description, which explains some kind of framework for the system. There are many frameworks out there, but this one has these 5 different things: task, context, references, evaluate, and iterate, right? You can even have this response length, output format, persona, and so on to provide in the system instructions. This is the example here. You can say persona, helpful and friendly sales assistant. You can provide the restriction already in the system prompt also, salesperson, but you are allowed or authorized to hinder other salesperson's job. Or if you are talking about doctor or something, you are a helpful doctor, but you are not allowed to prescribe medication or something like this, right? And the output format, which format you want, response length, what tone you want to have. So all these kind of things you can provide already in the system instructions, and you can evaluate, iterate, so that you have a solid system prompt, and then you ask the question on top of it. I think these kind of things, if you include in the system instructions, it will be really good. I'm not going to go through all this in this video, but if you want me to create another video just for the system instructions, let me know in the comment section. Always think that prompt and system prompt is different. System prompt, you focus overall what you want, and the prompt is the specific prompts or the questions that you ask to the LLM, which under the hood goes to the system prompt, check what is there, and provide you the answer. I hope that is clear. So here you can see, I'm not going to go and write anything here, but here you can say there are already the default prompts there. Okay, which is bigger? Test if AI knows which number is bigger, right? Something like this is just the create prompt place here. I will just go here and say, so it has already the number 9.9 or 9.11, right? Okay, it is thinking now here because I have this model here, Gemini 2 flash thinking, right? So when I click that particular prompt, it already chooses that model for me to go through. You can see it is thinking for some time, and you can even click here and see what is the thought process that it went through. You can see all the different things going on here, and at the end it provides to determine which number is this. We can compare them by looking. Therefore 9.9 is bigger than 9.11, so it comes to a conclusion that this is bigger, and there is the thought process under the hood. This one you can just go here and type whatever you want. You can choose different models, and it will provide you different instructions. For example, in the last video I went through the image generation part. If you see here, Gemini image generation, you can go and watch that. But that is the same thing. What I did was I went here, I choose the different model, this image generation, and from here you can provide some informations, and it will do the thing for you. Image generation, image editing, whatnot. You can have a visual story also. Just to show you, I can go here, I can upload the image. Let me upload this image here. What I want is, let's say I want the background to be green, right? Can you change the background to be green? Let's see if it works or not. This is kind of a photo editing part, right? So let's see if it does the thing. Yeah, here you go. AI does the thing for you. So this is quite powerful. You can just go here, choose different models, and then just go through it. Let's go through the stream real time. This is also really good. When I went this first time, I was like, wow, this is really great, because it does lots of things here. You can see it says interact with Gemini using text, voice, video, or screen sharing. I will go through one or two. For example, I can talk with Gemini. So I can click here. You can see stream is live. Hello, how are you?
I see that the stream is live. I am doing well, thank you for asking.
So
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. What's the weather in Finland today? Helsinki.
Okay.
You can see there is some latency, but what is the weather of
I don't have
Helsinki?
access to real-time weather information, so I can't tell you what the weather is like in Helsinki today. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, because it doesn't have the information to the real-time API, so it said that I don't have this. What is the capital of Finland?
I understand that there's some latency, but I still don't have access to live weather information. Therefore, I can't tell you what the weather in Helsinki.
You see that there is some kind of latency going on here, so it's just going through my previous questions. It says capital of Finland is Helsinki, right? You get the point. It doesn't have the real time, but because it's just the LLM doing the call, we are not connecting to any tools. Or nowadays there is a term called MCP. I'll create a video in the future about that. But you get the idea that if it connects to some server or APIs, it provides real time information, like connecting to the tools. But LLMs does not have that real time information, so it doesn't provide. So this is really cool thing that you can interact with the large language model and just interact with it, right? The next thing which I liked also the best is, if I again go to stream real time, I will refresh the page. I will share the screen and choose one code which I have made some change or modifications, right? So if I go here and say, okay, what is wrong in the code? I cannot load any environment variables. Let's see if it goes through it and find.
That the code is failing to load environment variables. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. You can see that there is some latency, but it's going through it. Let's see if it finds that I have this load.env.
Okay, it seems like you want to check if the code will run through successfully. Would you like me to check for any other potential issues in the... Got it. So it is indeed an issue with loading environment variables. Have you tried any solutions so far?
No, I haven't tried anything. What can you suggest based on the code that I have written in the VS Code? It's taking some time. You can see that there is some latency, but you get my point that
It appears you have identified a potential cause of the issue and are attempting to resolve it by uncommenting the line of code that loads the environment variables. Is that right?
You get the point that you can share it goes through the code and it will provide you the information, but the latency things is quite frustrating. Of course, I can understand that. This is how you can go through it and then have the informations. The third one, let's go through the starter apps. We can see here it says explore Gemini capabilities. Try these starter apps to interact hands-on with the applications of Gemini. Clone them in GitHub to kickstart, something like this. There is a video analyzer, spatial understanding, but let me go and take example of the map explorer. This is really good one. So I will click the map explorer. Now you can see the map opening here. Welcome to the map explorer, and I can say that this is the example that I'm saying here, right? So if you go here, I'm saying starter apps, map, hiking in Nepal. I will just ask the question, I want to do a hiking in Nepal. Can you suggest any routes, right? It went to Nepal, Tilicho Lake. How about hiking to Tilicho Lake, Nepal? This high altitude lake is considered one of the highest in the world and stunning views of the surrounding Himalayas. You can see that it went recommend place, caption this, and this is the caption here. This is really good, and you can just go here and ask more questions. I really like this feature of the map explorer, because if you don't know anything about some places, you can say, okay, just provide me some information. Now let's go to the tuner model, right? So this is, it says just select data for tuning. You can tune a model from an existing structured prompt or create this. Allow drive access. I will provide the drive access. Always there is a data for tuning, but before that, tuning a model, why it is necessary, right? There is a LLM which is trained on trillions of data, and now let's say that there is some use case that you want the model to be just focused on, right? Maybe you have some data in your company or a personal something, so you can provide that information for the LLM. You can tune a model from an existing structured prompt or create one by importing from Google Sheets or CSV. Tuning only works with the text at this time. We recommend using 100 to 500 examples. You need to provide some examples so it learns from there. You can just go here and choose things, but there is also the already provided things here, right? You can create a structured or prompt. Here there is example of summarization. I can just go here and summarization. You can see this is the example that you need to provide. So here in the input there is all the different things, and in the output it says, okay, this is what the output must be. And you can say here, okay, on titled model, you can just name here YouTube, just a simple example, and then provide any descriptions. You can choose the base model from where you want to fine tune, and now you can see it is fine tuning here. And now it says my file, there is the YouTube, and in queue tuning model. So it's in queue because there are many person maybe using this the same online version, and we are in a queue. Once the queue is there, it will be trained, and then you can have this model and use the API key and then use it in your application. That is that simple. Saying that it's quite simple, but then there is other parts of it, how to validate the model, is it providing you the better answer or not. All those things also needs to be cared when you go into the production, or if you want this tuned model to be used in the real life scenario. But just to get the idea how easy it is to get into it, that is the example. And you can see from the tuner model we already went to the library where our model will be there. I hope you get the idea how to go through it, and there is already the example being provided there, right? And now I really like this part also, prompt gallery. And now you can see when I was speaking, now our queue is there, less than 1 minute left, and it is in progress 88% already. And if you click on that, you can see that there is this model ID. Base model is this. Total training time 1 minute 15 seconds. Batch size 4. Epochs 2. Tune examples 50 examples. And learning rate 001. By the way, if you are completely new to these LLMs and what is epoch, what is batch size, and so on, it might be confusing. But just think that these are the parameters or hyperparameters that you must tune when you are training a model or fine tuning a model and so on. So this is all being chosen for us by default, and you can even see this diagram here, the loss per epochs and so on, and use your tuned model. You can use in this chat or add the API key. And now I can say okay, use in chat, and you can see now our model is here. Here you can see there is the YouTube, and now I can say I can provide something here and it will summarize it for me. Let me go here and I have this system prompt, right? Let me edit this. Let me copy this, Control A, Control C. Let me see and go here and I will say summarize this. Let's see if it works. And by the way, we are using, okay, I'm a helpful sales assistant who gives you product recommendation and support. And we are using our model here, not the other model, because this is fine-tuned on top of the model that we choose, right? Here you can see other different parameters. I will talk later, but you can tune the temperature and all the different things when you are going through this. So here you can see this is the model. This is the get code. You can even get the code. You can see this is what I was mentioning you. Temperature is 1, which is shown there, and other things are there. Max token output, response time is text, and this you can see Gemini API key. You need to provide this. You can open in a collab, copy API docs, and so on. And you can see you are a helpful sales assistant specializing in product recommendations and so on. So this is all the informations being provided. If you scroll down, and all the different things are here, and response the text, that is how you get the answer from the LLMs. That's the simple thing, right? And now here, this is the model that we fine-tuned. And the tokens, right? How many tokens do we use? Counts how many tokens are used for the content generation, right? Out of 16,135 tokens is being used. And the temperature, creativity allowed in the responses. So maybe what you can try yourself, because there is one maximum, you can just make it maybe 0.15, and again say here, can you summarize it again? Let's see if the answer will be exactly the same. I am a sales assistant, I help you choose the right product. You can see the difference here. If you go to 1, the creativity level increases, and if you went down, you just make it, I want this answer, provide me, kind of things. So you can choose between the creativity of the LLM, how creative the LLM you want to be. You can read more about this temperature and all the different parameters that you need to provide once you start building the application. Just drag the bar here and ask different prompts. Try yourself. That's how you learn. Changing different parameters and so on, you doing it yourself is a different story. Here there are also the safety settings. You can just go here and do the safety. Harassment block some, you can just make it all. Hate, you can make it all, and all the different things. You can reset the defaults, whatever you want to do. This is by default provided. And add stop sequences, meaning that let's say that you want to stop responses once it reads some kind of stop words. So truncate response including and after the string. So you can provide some strings. If it reads there, then it will stop. Maybe I if you are new, then it might be confusing, but once you start building, again I'm saying once you are building kind of things, because these are the things which happens when you start building the applications and so on. And output length is how much output you want, maximum number of tokens in the responses. You can increase based on the LLMs you choose. I hope that is clear. And if I go back to the diagram, I think I explained already all the things here. Now let's go to the prompt library or gallery. Here is the prompt gallery. You can explore input or prompt ideas for working with the latest Gemini models. If you are already working with the LLMs, you know that all the different LLMs require different prompting techniques. One prompting technique does not work for all the LLMs, right? So these are the examples that is being provided here so that you know what kind of prompts you need to ask. For example, which is bigger, that was what we went before. For example, here you can say blog writer. You can craft a blog post with an image, right? You can click here and now you can say write a short engaging blog post based on this picture. It should include a description of the meal in the photo, something. You get how you need to prompt it, right? So something like this, you can run it and now it will write you a blog post based on that particular image. So that's how easy it has been writing the blog post these days. And you can just go here and explore all the different things. and use that and learn to make the prompts better in your use cases. And here there is this API documentations. It will take you to the documentation, because again the same thing comes again. If you are starting to build the application on top of the Gemini models, you need to learn how you can use the code, different languages. For example, here the REST, Node.js, Python, or what you want to do. And these are the things here. You can go to the developer forum and you can go to the changelog and so on, right? Now if I go to the top again, here if you see, this is the top, there is this compare things. If you click on this one, you can have two different models comparing side by side. So now you can see in the left side there is one model, on the right side I think now it's the same model, but you can just go here and maybe choose this model and write a question here: car in the middle of road. Now let's see if it generates the image. Okay, here it generates the image, but here you can see this is the pro experimental, it is not the image generation. This query does not violate the policy as it simply describes this. There is no mention of unsafe driving. So you can see the difference between the image generation model and not image generation model. Now I can go here and say change the color to red, and this one will change the color of the car to red. So you can see not all the models are the same. You need to choose the two different models doing same thing or different things. I'm just showing you two different things so that you know that specific models are for specific use cases. I hope it clears out this comparison part. So this is the part, and let me go to the diagram here. This is the model comparison that I just showed you, and image generation also I just showed you. And now there are other things also here in the settings. Now if you go down here, this I just went already. And now if I go to this get code, we already went through this. And output format, you can choose the format you want. And now if I go to the advanced part, I think there is somewhere where there were more things. If I go here, temperature, safety, add sequence, where are those other things? Let me see. Safety model, if I go here, okay, that was what confuses me, because based on the model you choose, these things also change. I did this before and I was like, what the heck is happening here? But you can see based on the model you choose right here, this is the image experimental, so it does not show other things. It's just the temperature and all the other things and what format you want to do. But if you go here and choose different models, for example this Gemini to flash, Gemini to flashlight, and this, if I go here, still we can see some of the things. I just want to show you the free ones. So here there is this structured output, right? I think this is the one that I want to cover. Yeah, structured output first. So here if you hover, it will show you that okay, generate structured output. In some cases it is needed because you just want to have some kind of structured format of the output from the LLM. That's really necessary when you building your applications. For example, if I go here and toggle this, here I can go and edit, right? So this is the code editor example. You can even have the visual ones. It says enter an open API schema object to constrain the model output. See the API documentation. If you want to go through this code editor, you can just go through this, but I will go with the visual editor, and you can add the property. So you can say here name of the property. Let's say that I want to have the capital city, for example, in the string, and I want to have Nepal country maybe. I'm just showing you some example string, and I want these to be required fields. And you can see here make property an array. You can delete this or something. I will save this here. Now I want to go to Nepal for hiking and family visit in Kathmandu. This is just a simple example that I'm showing you. Let's see what happens if I run the input. So now you can see here it says capital city is Kathmandu, country is Nepal. That is what I wanted from the prompt. Just a simple example for you to understand that if you want the output to be structured, you can provide the schema and it will extract that information from your prompt. Here we provide our prompt and it goes to the prompt and say, okay, Nepal is country, Kathmandu is the capital city, and it knows what to extract from that information. I hope that is clear. Now let's go through the code execution part. So here if I go, I can toggle this. Let me maybe go again to the top, choose the model. Here I will choose the experimental again. I will go to the code execution part, write a Python code to create a to-do list. Just a simple example here, but let's see what happens. Break down this code functionality, data storage, and I have this code execution. Execute the code in the prompt, right? Let's see if it does that for me. Yeah, you can see here it writes the code implementation basic in memory list, this, and all the different things is mentioned here. This if main, key improvements and versions to run the code, save it in a Python file, this. But I have this code execution here. Execute code in the prompt. Can you execute the code as I have the code execution? Let me see. You are right. I can execute the code directly. My apologies. I got caught up in the explanation mode. Here is the code followed by a demonstration of its. Now let's see. Since I can't interact directly with the input calls in the live session, I would simulate a few instructions. It went through that. Next step. Do you want me to save the file feature, or if you want to do this? No, I don't want. It went through this simulated interaction. So yeah, you get the point. It runs the code for us, and this is the code execution things. Also execute the code in the prompt. So these are the tools right under the hood. You can have this code execution things on and it will do the things for us. These are the tools I said, because these are the things that LLM does not do if you don't mention it to do. And there is this function calling, the name suggests it. You can provide different functions and you can relate these to maybe API calls and so on, which you can go to the external world to get the answer. Call function in the prompt. So you have a prompt, you can call the function in the prompt directly itself. You can just go here, visual editor, add function, you can add the description, add parameters and so on, and run this. I'm not going to go through this, but you get the idea. You can even have the function calling already in the UI itself. If you are in the LLM field, I hope you know the function calling part. And in the Bedrock world, if you are in the AWS side also, there is custom actions in the Bedrock agent which acts as a function calling, where you can execute a function and it will do the thing for us. And the last one is grounding with Google search. So this is again a tool which is going to the Google search and grounds your answer, providing the resources or sources also into it. I will just toggle this, right? And it says source Google search. Now I can just go here and I will say capital of, or what I can do, I can say here, what time is it now in Helsinki? Let's see if it goes through the Google search, because when you do the Google search it will provide the answer, right? Okay, the current time in Helsinki is 1:42 p.m. on Sunday, March 24. Helsinki is currently on Eastern European time, which is UTC 2. However, daylight saving time starts on March 30 and Helsinki will move to UTC 3. This, but it is 12:42 right now. So it got some kind of mismatch, but you get the point. It went through it and provided the answer, and it went through the old time server, time and date and so on. If I click here, redirect notice, okay, I don't want to go there, but you get the point. It will redirect to that page, so we get the source, and it also says what did it search in the Google. Current time of Helsinki, now if you see, current time is actually 12:43, but here when it provides the answer it says 1:42. Some kind of mistake when it provides the answer, but you get the point. It is calling the tool, going through the Google search and providing us the answer, right? So let me again go back to the diagram if there is something else that is needed. Okay, code execution, grounding structure, we went through this. Function calling, go this, hiking left menu, we went through all different things here. The video already went above 30 minutes, but I hope you get the point. There are different things which you can try yourself, which is free, all right? And just learn how to use different tools, because these are the tools provided for us to learn things. Once you are comfortable, you can just use the API and build your applications. So yeah, I hope you learned something new out of this video. I really like the UI also, although there is too many things to consume at the first glance. If you just go here, oh okay, there is so many things, how do I navigate through this? But once you are used to this, I find it okay, it's okay. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.